All right, guys. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Navin Prithyani here from forexwatchers.com. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you to FXStreet for having me here again. So let's get the show started here. Today's topic is going to be on support and resistance. Just trying to figure out here, where can I see the comments? For comments for everybody. Give me a second here. All right. Okay, I'm going to turn on screen sharing here. Just let me know when it pops up. All right. Looks like it has some security stuff. 1 second. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see the chat room. Okay, I'm just logging into the chat room. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So, all right, how many of you guys are new here to the webinar? First time seeing me, or first time seeing me live, actually? See, I'll try to keep this right there. Okay. Okay, is screen sharing visible? Perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's get started here. So we're going to go into support and resistance, and how we deal with support and resistance, and what's the best way to deal with it. This is a winning strategy that we use at Forex Watchers. Okay, it's one of the many strategies that we teach. A lot of it has to do with how you read the markets. Okay, so it's not just a very simplistic 1, 2, 3 execute, because the saying that we have at Forex Watchers is 1, 2, 3 execution instead of execute. You follow a systematic pattern, it will kill you. Okay, you have to flow with the market like the water flows. It bends and turns around objects that comes towards it. Okay, so let's take a look at, for example, this screen right here on Euro USD. Now, certain things that we need to look at. Now, there is support and resistance all over the place, but there's a difference between how people understand what is support and resistance. Now, for many people, this is a support level here. For some, this is a support level down here. Okay. For some, that might say those two is the support levels, it's a support zone. Okay. And then there are many who will just look at it like this and say that low never happened. Okay. That's not a support down there. That low never happened. And that's generally what we actually do. We ignore the excess. Okay. Now, what does that mean to ignore the excess? Now, take a look at this. When I put my trend line or my line just like this right here, you see this excess that pops out of it and comes right back down. What do you think this thing looks like on a higher time frame? It's just going to be a wick. It's just going to be a wick. Okay. In fact, let's go to a higher time frame and let's take a look at it. Yeah, look at that. So how would you draw your support resistance on this time frame? We're on the 240 now. We jumped up a time frame. So to them, that is an area of reaction already. So the price doesn't react all the way up to here, but actually this is where the price keeps holding. Okay? So if I go back down to the 1 hour or even to the 15 minutes, you'll see all this is excess. Like it doesn't exist. So that's how you find the true support resistance. Okay? So far so good. Is everything making sense? Yes, yes, no? Okay. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. Moving forward. Now, when you deal with something like this and you see an uptrend, for example, coming in like this, you're looking at an uptrend that was preceded by an overall downtrend, and you're looking at an area of when can I get in to sell? Okay, you got an area that comes in from a major support equals resistance here. Okay, we got that major support resistance right there. Okay, let's put it right there so you can chop out the excess. Okay, and as the market goes up to react to it, we're looking at a support equals resistance trading style. Now, support equals resistance trading style, basically what it is you don't want the buyers to come in really hot. Okay, what happens is when this market comes down at this potential speed, but as it comes up slower. Okay, that's something you want to look out for. It's like, why is it slow? Why was it strong on the way down? You want to ask yourself these questions. And then as it's coming up slower and slower and slower, and then it suddenly speeds up like that, most people might think that, oh, it's a breakout. We're going north. We're going long. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen my breakout webinar from yesterday, but we're going long. That's what the anticipation is. Like, okay, hit the buy button. The markets are turning around, but that's not the case. You know, we got real support and resistance just above us, which means the real sellers, the big sellers, are still alive. And if the big sellers are still alive and you see this big green candles go up here, these are two green candles, one big one, and then another one turns green as well. But remember, these are 60-minute candles. 2 hours go by to make this. A lot of people will go long because most people generally don't have the patience to sit through it. Okay, and you traders that are coming out here at FXStreet and stuff like that, you guys want to be more educated so you guys can be on top of stuff like this, right? So you guys are learning to be better every single day. We don't want to make the same mistakes all the other retail traders make, right? So when you see stuff like this, what you want to do is you want to just keep an eye on it and see, is the market really making a higher high? But because once the market jumps right back down below this purple line again, you're like, huh, well, it's not going up anymore. And that was a faker, or whatever you guys like to call it, a fake out, right? So everyone who went long just got stopped out. But then there are still people looking at longs because for some people, this is still a support equals resistance, right? But then it goes to tell you why. Why this hard reaction? That why is going to get you through. Okay? Why this hard reaction? You must believe in those big sellers. They're back. They're back. So when you see stuff like this, you see the final attempts for the last buyers here. And once that fails with the red bar, it's like, okay, it's game time. And that's when you execute your sells. Okay? Everyone with me so far? Yes? No? I'm very curious how this chat system works. All right. Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. So moving forward, let's take a look at another example. Let me open up, let's say, pound dollar. Okay. And pound dollar, when we're looking at the situation here, we see a downtrend, overall downtrend coming in, hot, right? Major downtrend coming in. Okay, that's the big boy, because if I go up to the 4 hours, you can clearly see that downtrend. If I go to the daily, you can also see that temporary downtrend there, right? So if we're trading on the hourly, you can see that there's a downtrend there, but you're aware of, hey man, there's a major support coming up, because according to the 1 hour, the downtrend is good, but according to the daily, hey, the downtrend is coming out at the end, like it's almost about to die out. Okay, so let's take a look back at the 1 hour, and let's take a look at this downtrend that we were just looking at. Okay, this is the one. All right, now in this downtrend, let's go over all the support equals resistance. We got an SNR here. Okay, we got an SNR there. Let me do it with the trend line. Okay, we got an SNR there. Okay, a lot of excess. We got an SNR there. Okay, this down here is excess. We got an SNR there. Oh. Okay, and then we got more SNRs there. So let's understand some aspects. So this SNR you'll be able to figure out. This SNR you'll be able to figure out what happened here. And once it went long, those who took the long, they got killed on this. What happened? How do we know it's still going to be a short? What happened to this support equals resistance trading style? Okay, so let's get into that. Let's get into that. So the trend generally gives you lots of information. Okay, let's start with looking and analyzing the trend completely. So when we look at the first trend, we're looking at this area right there and be like, how did the market come down? Okay, looks fairly aggressive, comes down, some green candles in there showing you some buyers are present. But as it comes down and then it retraces, the retracement is extremely weak compared to the sellers. So that's fine. Sellers kick back in, they come in stronger, but they don't get much further. It's like half the size of the previous downfall. Okay, then they retrace and the buyers are a bit stronger than last time and they retrace 50%. Markets drop again, very strong, but it dropped in one go, almost the same size as the previous one. And then it limps on its way up. It limps, it limps, and limps. This is the moment it drops from. But that drop does not create a lower low. It does not create a lower low, so it's like, what's it trying to do? Why not a lower low? Let's take a look at this information a little bit to the left. Okay, let's open up the 4 hours to see it in one screen. I'll just open up the 4 hours. Okay, clean this out. Okay, we're here on the 4 hours and we're looking at this area of why did it react so hard from here? Interesting area, isn't it? If I just extend this out to the left. Okay, so it goes to tell you who gets priority in terms of support equals resistance. Well, it depends on what time frame you're looking at. The higher the time frame, the higher the priority. Okay, remember the higher time frame has a lot of big boys, a lot more money, a lot of investors who don't trade for a living, they invest for a living. So they're looking at these major levels to put in chunks of their money. You know, banks and institutions, they can't move 50, 60 million on a 5-minute chart. They need major levels to play with. Make sense? So far, so good? All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Want to join? You asked about what breakout webinar. We did a webinar yesterday, I believe, it's on YouTube, regarding the breakouts and how we deal with breakouts. Very similar to what I'm showing you today. So you guys can check that out either on our site or on YouTube. think we did one at FXStreet too before. So if you look in the archives, you might find one. Okay, so moving forward. All right, let's continue. So that explains the situation there for those who were looking to sell this and you're like, huh, what in the world happened? How come my trade didn't work? Okay, well, because the bit higher time frame one gets priority. Once he kicks in, now how do we know that it's going to be a sell again? That's the question. That's the main question to ask, because once it goes up, some people might be thinking, well, prepare for longs, right? A little pullback and we're going long because we're just looking at the 60-minute time frame and we're unaware of what the story is. Okay, everything has a story. There's always a story. So you got to be conscious about all these things, or mindful, since this is the new age word going around. You got to be mindful about things. Okay, so let's take a look at the higher time frame. Let's go up to the 4 hours again and see what's that area there and why does it react. Let's remove this and let's take a look at their SNRs. Okay, so we got an SNR right here. If I extend this out, so you're in the support equals resistance zone. We got an SNR, not that one. Okay, we got one right there. Now, would you say this is excess, the one where it comes down and pops right up? Or is that where the price keeps holding? Notice where the tail comes, right there. Notice where the red bar held, right there. The tail right there. And all of this, a quick down and a quick up, as if it was not real. Okay? So these excess, if you get good at them, you'll be able to spot things much more easier and more precise. Okay, we teach it as probing. Okay? We call it probing. That's the language we use in at Forex Watchers. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. So now it gets up to there, and we're thinking about it like, well, he didn't stop down here. Well, because the major support resistance kicked it up. Fair enough. But what's happening to my sellers? Does it look like he's dying? Like 1 down, small retracement. 2 down, smaller, and then 50% retracement. 3 down and completely dead. We're like, whoa, is he giving up? Okay, so if I was looking at this downtrend, but someone else is clearly looking at this uptrend, they're looking to buy this. So there's a lot of power that's going to go into this buy. And if you want to look into these sells, you have to look at this area of what happens in this area when it's a 100% retracement. Okay, so now we just made things a little bit more advanced. We went from generic support and resistance trading to suddenly a higher level of understanding of support resistance trading using multiple time frames. Okay, who's with me so far? Anyone lost or confused? So the clue always at these stages are unlock the story. Unlock the story. What is happening? Who's looking at the buys if you're looking at the sells? And if you're looking at the sells, if you're looking at the buys, who's looking to sell? Yeah? All right. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. So we see scenarios like this, and then we're like, okay, the market goes up to here. It does 100% retracement. Now we need to see if it has any last push, because we will not buy at 100% retracement. You know, that's the first time people who ever enter on the first go will always lose, because that's impulse trading. Okay, so whenever the market moves for the very first time, that's impulse trading, and you generally get caught out in that. So based on the 1 hour, you're looking at it as a sell. Based on the 4 hours, the sell seems to have died. Okay, now we're going to take it back up a notch and go to the daily and see, well, is it a sell or is it a buy? Now we're on the daily chart. Take a look at this resistance here. No higher high sequence. Take a look at this support here. No lower low sequence. We're in a range, and we're at the top of the range. So you have a lot of market pressure telling you that around this price, we're looking to turn. Okay? So these are critical moments of trading. So the first 4 hours, the market drops and the candle closes just there. And that's your first sign of, if you're trading on the 4 hours, hit your sell. If you're trading on the 1 hour, okay, any candles that start to overrule the previous upper, higher high, higher low sequence, it's time for your sells. Okay, now it may seem so simplistic as what I'm showing you, and I get this a lot. You know, the way I teach things and the way I explain things, like, oh, it looks very easy when you teach it, but when I go to trade it, it's very difficult. And it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing because there's no practice for it, and there is no conscious effort to look for these things. You need to make an effort to find the entire story. You have to make the effort to find the entire story, to find out what is actually happening. Am I going to be on the wrong side of the trade? Because yes, to the 60-minute traders, that was a sell, but to the 4-hour traders, it's a buy. And then to the daily traders, it's a sell. It's like, oh my God, what do I do? Right? So it's all over the place. So you got to figure out who takes priority, who runs the show. Remember the areas, if the daily people are trading, where's their stop loss? If the 4-hour people are trading, where's their stop loss? If you're trading on the 1 hour, where's your stop loss? You got to keep these things in mind. Okay? If you feel that you're the only trader in the market and you're going to be oblivious to the information in front of you, you have to let go of how you feel and what you think of the market and open your eyes to a bigger perspective and find out, I wonder what everyone else is thinking. And that's when you get an edge that most people do not have. An edge that every student that comes at Forex Watchers goes through in the beginning. That's the primary beginning training that we give to everybody. You must learn to look at the market in a different light. Stop doing the, if this happens, then that happens. This is not a programming language code. That it's not if, this, and else. Okay? So be more conscious and more aware of what's happening. Okay? Okay, so there's a question that says, what are excesses? Excesses is basically when you see the market pop out, but return immediately. So let me show you guys here. Notice how this area of support was holding. Okay, this tail here is excess. If I go like this, it's like, wait a minute, Navin, that's not a tail. That's two bodies going outside. Well, if I go to a higher time frame, and if I extend this out also, I'm like, wait a minute, Navin, that's more bodies going outside. Yeah, but notice price actually never goes below here. This is excess or fake. If we go up to a higher time frame, to the 4-hour charts, and look at those areas, look at that tail. That's excess. The body's up there. Price got rejected. It wasn't real. This is for all the fake breakout traders, all the people who chase the money. They're all gone. They're all killed. So if you're patient and you're trading second, you'll notice this. But if you participate and you do not anticipate, that's when the problem comes. When the market moves and you have a feeling you need to jump in it and join the group, that's when all the problems come. Okay? So let's take a look. Thank you, Mauricio, and thank you for FXStreet for having that link there. That's all my webinars I did at FXStreet almost for the last several years now. So there's a lot of information out there that I put out there. Okay, so does that make sense for whoever had that question regarding excesses? Does that answer your question? Okay, so let me go back to that 1 hour page. So yeah, excess is basically dealing with stuff like that. Is cutting out the stuff that's literally excess. I like all the names you guys have. One person has wanna join, the next guy is hi, sorry I'm late. It's like, well, welcome, welcome. Okay, so everyone with me so far? Anyone confused or lost? Okay, Azemuldin. Okay, okay. I'll remember that name. Okay, so far so good. Shall we continue? All right, good. Let's go. Let's keep going. Let's look at some more examples. This time, you guys work with me. Answer some questions with me, yeah? All right. Let me remove this. I followed you a long time. Next, please. All right. Let me open up a different pair. Any pair you guys particularly like or are looking at right now? Well, let me pick a random pair. Let's go to, for example, Aussie USD. Okay. I'll go to Aussie USD. We're going to clear things out. We're going to look at something a little bit more shorter term time frame, so we can start looking at it like, what's going to happen now? Okay. What can we expect from the market to do? Yeah. So I think one of you guys already said Aussie USD, but maybe we'll go to those USD CADs and pound USD we just looked at. Maybe we'll recap if we get some time. Okay. So Aussie USD, we're looking at this, right? Now, we're going to do a top-down analysis really quick. We're going to start on the daily, see what's the daily doing. Okay. Would you guys agree with me that we're not making any higher high sequences? We're just stuck in this area. And then on the bottom, we're not really making lower low sequences. We're just stuck in this area. Right? Yeah, it's holding. So we're in an area that's very, very critical here. Okay. Well, just keep that in mind. Let's go down to the 4 hours. And the 4 hours, let's take a look at how the markets are going up. It's like, let's take a look at these buyers. Now, imagine you're a buyer. Now, forget that you want to sell, right? Because the daily, they're showing you major support, major resistance. You're like, I should sell. I'll be safer. So if you want to sell, you're going to be safer. And you're looking at this as, all right, well, then I'm going to start looking at it as a buyer. Okay, a small, simple hack to help your trading. You want to buy, think like a seller. You want to sell, think like a buyer first. Let's take a look at this buyer. So this buyer goes up. He retraces 60%, 70%. Then he goes up further and he retraces 20%. Okay, what can you tell me about this buyer right now? Is he getting weak? Is he getting stronger? Just based on those two movements. Okay. Yeah, he's getting stronger, right? So can we do anything about ourselves yet? No. Because you're that buyer, you're like, oh hell yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yeah. So then the market goes higher, retraces a bit, goes even higher. You get up to this area here. What is going on in your mind as a buyer psychologically? You're willing to hold. You're absolutely willing to hold because you're like, hey, if the trade is working, why close it? Everyone's looking at holding. So once it retraces again, 50%, and then it blasts up hard again, you're still holding. You're still holding. At no point are you panicking. You want that panic to kick in. Once that panic kicks in for that buyer, that's when you know your sells are preparing. Make sense? All right, so now the next move up, look how struggly the next move up is. Okay, it's like up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Like it's very choppy, very up and down looking. Very, very up and down looking. Okay. Look at all these struggles on the way up. It used to fly up normally. Here, here, here. It flew up normally, but now it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. So let me get rid of these. Okay. Now you're looking at these struggles going up, and now he hasn't even made a higher high. And last time, when he went higher than this certain price, look what happened to him last time. He got rejected really hard from that daily area. Now let's take a look at this now on the hourly and see, well, what's the scene there? Okay, in the scene here, the buyers are still present. But let's take a look at this carefully. What looks like an uptrend is not really an uptrend. There is a problem happening. Look at this uptrend. How many of you guys would say that's an uptrend? And how many of you guys would say that's actually a dying uptrend? Because if you take a look at this very carefully, this uptrend has just become like this. See that? Just suddenly turns into a range. Yes, your buyers are strong, but that range and that big major resistance on top. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, struggling to breathe uptrend, right? So it's an uptrend that's dying. They're having a hard time up there. Notice the sellers here when the markets were going up here. Notice these sellers. And then when the market went up again, notice these sellers. It's like, whoa, they became more aggressive. And when the market went up again this time, notice the buyers this time when the market went up. Notice how far did the buyers go? They didn't even make a higher high. And then notice the sellers. Whoa, aggressive. So I want you guys to tell me, when you guys trade, do you notice these subtle differences? Or are we simply looking at, oh, that's a range, hit the buys, hit the sells. Oh, that's a trend line, hit the buys. Or are we noticing what's happening in the market? Are we staying in tune? Are we flowing like water and adjusting to what we see? Yeah, so how many of you guys are with me here now and see that where this might help you and see where some mistakes you might have been making in some of your trading? Like, oh yeah, if I can just incorporate this, imagine how much of a change I can make in my trading. Like how much of a profit I can increase and how much of my losses I can decrease just by knowing this additional piece of information. Right? So incorporate stuff like this in your trading and you'll see a major difference. A major difference. Yeah. So I'm seeing questions like I'm seeing responses like I never see it much like that. I never knew this before. Right? So and that's because it's not taught in the general industry. What's taught is very robotic stuff. A plus B is equal to C. Right? Unfortunately, the market is not robotic. It's human beings trading. It's your psychology against theirs. But everyone's psychology is the same when it comes to emotions. Everyone reacts very similarly. That's your edge. Yeah. So finally, as we start getting ready to close up, how many of you guys, when you leave this webinar today, are going to promise me that you're no longer going to just trade very systematically? You guys are going to look at the story. You guys are going to do that little extra homework and say, I'm going to get this fixed. I'm not going to let this happen to me again. Okay? Say, I promise, if you guys agree that this is actually making a breakthrough for you guys. Good. All right. So let's do one more example. Let's take a look at, I believe there was a USD CAD that you guys said. Okay, good. Dave, Kima, H, Steve. Excellent. Good to see. Yeah, the stories are very hard to read. You need to give it some practice. You have to give it that extra push and practice. Like, okay, I know it's hard, but I'm going to figure it out. This is exactly why you're here. What brought you to FXStreet? What brought you to look for more information? There's that desire that I must need more information. Rely on that. Keep an open mind and be like, okay, let's see how I can use this information. Does it benefit me? Does it not benefit me? Make yourself better every single day. That's your job as a trader, is to be better than yesterday. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at USD CAD. Let's start from the daily. Okay. All right. What do we have on the daily? Notice we have a upward channel here, just rising and rising and rising and rising. Okay, we still have some I promises coming in. Some people saying eager to learn. Good. I like this crowd. You guys are hungry. You guys are hungry for knowledge. That's good. All right. So we got a nice little up channel going on here, right? On the daily charts. Now, along with the up channel, we also have a moment where it's looking like, looks like we're also tapping into a range. Okay. Oops, sorry. Also tapping into a range right here. So up channel for the most part. Now let's take a look at this on the 4 hours and see, well, what's going on with this up channel? Why is it going up and down and up and down? But I'm gonna go back to the daily and I'm gonna show you something very interesting. This is an up channel, which means sell from the top of the channel. Agree? That's the general way of thinking. Sell from the top of the channel. Now, some people might be looking at the channel the way I drew it. Some people are looking at this channel, right? Some people are looking at it as resistance here only, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna hit the sells there. So notice there's so many different views. Well, which view wins? It's everyone's view against everyone's view, right? So we need to take in as much information as we can, because we can't just rely on this line that we drew and say, hey man, that's the best line ever. I'm gonna wait for the price to get up to here, and that's when I'm gonna sell. You know, that's where my Ferrari is sitting at. You know, it's not like that. It's not like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to the 4 hours now. We're gonna be aware of these lines, but we're just gonna read the market and see what the market wants to do. Okay, so we're gonna start from the bottom, and we're gonna pay close attention to our support resistance levels. Okay, now for those of you who asked me about excess and stuff like that, this is a good practice for you too as well. So let's take a look at this. So the markets start rising. Let's say you guys are the buyers, right? Think like a buyer, only as a buyer. So you guys are buying and the market pulls back a little bit like that. Okay, 15, 20%. Then it starts buying again. Any of you guys scared of that? Are you guys worried about your buys? No, you're still at it. You're like, I'm still going for it. There's nothing to worry about. My buy is powerful. Then the buy goes up slightly higher, makes a higher high, pulls back 15% again. Are you worried? No. The game is still on. You're like, let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Then it makes a higher high again, but it takes a little bit longer, but it makes a higher high. You're still okay. The greed is still there. The greed's still running. And you're like, all right, all right. But then suddenly a massive drop happens. A massive drop happens, but it doesn't take out much of your profits. It drop happens just to the recent support. And you're like, I don't know what to do. I think that's okay. And then here comes the bargaining mentality. Okay, at least go up to the same price that I had before, and we'll work with it. At least go back to the same price. Right? That's the bargaining mentality. How many of you guys have done that before? If you guys were up $1,000 and then it comes down to suddenly $700, like, okay, go up to $1,000 again and then I'll close it. Does this happen to many people? Right? I study traders a lot. I sit there next to them when I'm training them, and I'm looking at them. It's like, why did you do that? And it's very interesting how they think, how each and every individual thinks in a very similar way. Okay, because we're all trained to deal with money in a certain way, and that psychology stays the same with most people. And if that's the same, we can be better. If all we know is if everyone's thinking like this, we can be better. Right? That's why we're here. That's why we're here. All right. So let's move forward. Let's move forward. So the guy is panicking, but he's not scared yet. He's panicking. Damn money. Okay. Then the buy kicks in very hard in one shot. Boom. How do you feel now regarding your buys? How do you feel that when you were worried a bit and then you started to hold on? Did the market just not justify your holding on, saying, all right, you're good. You held on last time. Look what had happened. Now you're more confident. Even though you're back to your $1,000, are you closing that trade? No. Everybody does this. They don't close it. They're like, well, it went up so hard and I'm back at 1,000, probably $50 extra. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So people don't close at that stage. Also, they're still holding on. They're still holding on at this stage. And it's very psychological. So then it retraces again, but slower this time. Okay, it takes 4 or 5 candles and it comes back to the same area. And now you're looking at the same area as, hey man, that's the same spot I saw last time where it took off from. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it. Okay. It goes up again. It goes up again. But at this time, you're starting to realize, hey man, I'm stuck in a range. I'm stuck in a range. We're not getting anywhere. And you're hoping that the range will break. Okay? You're hoping that the range would break. So as the market pinballs in this area, some start to lose interest in this trade at this point, and they start to close their buys. Okay? Some start to exit. Some traders start looking at this range and be like, I think the buy is dead. Prepare for sells. Prepare for sells. This is why the market starts to get lopsided towards the sell side, because if you have a buy trade, what must you do? You must sell. You must offer your price to someone else. And the sell pressure starts to build. It starts to build. Okay? Once the sell pressure starts to build, notice what happens. The market starts to go down. Those of you who were holding on for their dear life and this happens and the market just collapses, major losses, everyone exits. Now, major losses and everyone exits also initiates all the sellers who do breakouts. They're looking at this range. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to sell this. It's on, baby. They jump into sells. Those participants, not anticipant people. So the participants, they jump into sells very quick, very, very last minute, because they don't get in here. They get in down here somewhere. That's the time they get in. They by the time they hear about it, think about it, they get in. Okay? It's like real estate. No one buys a house right when it's no one's talking about it. The moment it hits the news that everyone's making money in millions, everyone jumps in on it. It's a normal phase of how the mind works. So if you take it from me, if you hear about an opportunity, it's already late. That's why you're hearing about it. It's too late. It's done. Okay. So now, as this market starts to pull back and come down, everyone's so looking at the strength of this and they forget that we're in an overall upward momentum. And everyone's like, okay, sell, 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 sell. Market starts to react, bounces up, goes up hard. And then you start to realize based on today's session, you're like, wait a minute, was that all just excess? Did that just stop out many people who didn't have the patience to understand what's happening? Let's take a look at this on the daily. See that excess there? if I put my line of support resistance just to the left, what's that spot? What is that spot? So those who are following the lower time frame, hitting those cells, that crucifixion or their price that they pay is your opportunity. It is your opportunity. That tells you it's time. It's time to buy. Okay, so you activate the buys just as it comes right back in, because you know it's a range now. You know that wasn't a down, it's a range. The markets are going sideways. And how do you trade ranges? You buy from the bottom, you get exit on the top. But now notice we didn't do it systematically. We understood the market, we studied it, we practiced it, and then we executed accordingly. How many of you guys are with me? Looks like there's a slight delay. Yeah, there we go. Good, good. Good. Is it making sense now? Do you see, can you actually feel where all the mistakes are happening for many of you guys? And it's not, I'm not even teaching you guys a strategy. I'm simply showing you how to read the market. We haven't even touched strategies and techniques and all that stuff. We're simply showing you the core of how to trade like a professional. Yeah. So as we're getting ready to close the day today, again, do not forget your promises that you made me. I'm holding you guys accountable from here on out, that you guys will make the extra effort to educate yourself more, attend more webinars, come to my webinars, go to other webinars on FXStreet, do what you have to do, make yourself better, learn. You will be better every single day. You will be better every single day. Okay? So thank you all for coming here today, guys. Those of you who actually wanted to join Forex Watchers, some of you guys joined yesterday. We have more webinars as Mauricio posted on YouTube. We have a 25% discount going on if you want to join my community. Here's the coupon code. You might have to take a screenshot, or you might have to take a screenshot for that coupon code if you want to join our community. This is what we do day to day with conference rooms 2 times a day. Where we discuss all these things and we look at the markets together. So if you want access to our membership, that's the discount code to join. All right, it will be running till the end of the month. All right, guys, thank you very much. This webinar would be recorded, and I will see you guys until next time. Thank you, FX Street, for having me here. Have a good day. Cheers. Bye for now.